What up, good people, and welcome to another episode of This Is Dope. It's your man Ahmad here. Just throwing up a quick video on my latest tech acquisition, which is the iPad Pro Magic Keyboard. My thoughts on the Magic Keyboard and my, expectations. The iPad itself is a tablet. It's not a laptop. It's a tablet. It's a different type of computing device. The keyboard, I'm looking to improve its ability to be a productivity tool. I'm anticipating not that this keyboard is going to make it a laptop. I don't want it to be a laptop. I don't. If I wanted a laptop, I'd buy a laptop. I really want it to really enhance and add to the functionality of this already awesome device that so happens to be my primary computing device, that now I'm able to do 90 to 95% of the things that I want to get done on it, or that I need to get done on it. I'm hoping this keyboard will make that a little easier, more efficient, so I'm able to do these things quicker, as well as maybe add a couple of percent to it, right? And hopefully there's some different enhancements that'll come out further down the line to help this thing be more usable for the more power user things that I need to do, such as scripting, light coding, information security related things of that nature, right? But that's an entirely different video. So what I want to do now really is just kind of give you guys a little taste on what my impressions are, how I've been using it since I've had it, which has been about 4 days. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Well, here we have it. iPad Pro Magic Keyboard. This is the 12.9 inch, as I have the 12.9 inch iPad Pro. I'm still running rocking the 2018 model. Didn't see a reason to upgrade to the 2020 model, so I started my 2018 iPad Pro. So far, it's been working great. I mean, the keyboard interaction with the iPad I haven't heard or seen anything that would lead me to believe that I need to get the 2022 iPad Pro to leverage this keyboard's full functionality. So there's a couple of things that I noticed, off rip, that I was really excited about, right? So I got my iPad Pro, I got this keyboard, my Magic Keyboard on Tuesday evening, and so I was tinkering around with it, later on at night. I tend to stay up pretty late, after the family goes to bed, and, do research and things of that nature. The backlit keys are the first thing that to me are godsend, right? The ability to be able to use this thing at night, have these keys backlit, and be able to see what I'm typing, and to be able to see the keys very, very clearly. It's awesome. Also, another major improvement that's pretty noticeable to me were really just the keyboard itself. Now, disclaimer, I was never upset or had any complaints about the Keyboard Folio's keyboard. I never thought that it was a terrible keyboard. Didn't think it was perfect, but for what it was very, very usable. Very happy with it. Used it a lot. However, using this keyboard is definitely a much more pleasurable and smoother experience for me, right? So the keyboard in and of itself is great. Also, another big thing is the trackpad, obviously, right? They've had trackpad and mouse support since 13.4. However, you have to use the external mouse and things of that nature, and I wasn't going to carry around the extra equipment. This trackpad, however, works great. For my workflow and how I use my iPad, it's very easy for me to switch back and forth between touching the screen, typing, using the trackpad, and using my Apple Pencil. All those things work in concert for me to be able to have a complete productivity experience, right? But that being said, the other cool thing about the trackpad and really just mouse support is just the cursor itself. Let me zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Maybe, hopefully, let's see. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. All right, right here, you see. Let's see my cursor right here, right? So when I go over a particular icon, it highlights, it shows you where I'm at, right? Which is great. I've configured this thing to do tap to touch, so I can just tap once and it'll open it, right? Just as if I, tapped on the keyboard tapped on the screen with my finger. The really cool thing though is you see the cursor here. Let's move it. You see the cursor here. When I let it sit for a couple seconds, it goes away. I mean, that to me is very, very useful, right? That way it's there when you need it. It disappears when you don't. It's just a really, really useful thing to have, and kind of supports that whole multiple ways to input or interact with the iPad that I think Apple has planned for a while now, right? So that really is one of the major features of this keyboard / trackpad combo that is the Magic Keyboard. Let's see. The other thing that really, really stuck out to me was, obviously, the design, right? You see the iPad here, it's floating. It's really, really cool. It looks cool, looks futuristic, but it's also extremely functional. And the reason being is that with the Keyboard Folio, you're able to grab your iPad, fold it over so that the keys are on the backhand side, and you're still able to use it as a tablet, when you don't have it in keyboard mode, right? This, however, you can't. You're only going to be able to fold this, only so far. However, what they've done is this, I guess the way they have it designed makes it easier for you to truly use this thing as a tablet. Not only does it look cool, but it lets you, separate this thing very, very easily and use this as a true tablet, right? So you're able to use the I wanted to say iPhone, but you're able to use the iPad in its true tablet form, and not really have any difficulty in, moving it from tablet to keyboard, right? You lift it off, you can put it back on, you just got to line it up, and voila, snaps back in. Now, I'm glad they're making us use it this way because, I think a lot of times with my Keyboard Folio case, I folded it over and never really took my iPad off of it, so I didn't really appreciate the design and the futuristic, I guess, build and architecture that is the iPad. It's such a thin, solid, powerful computing device that, it's really, really futuristic, really Star Trek-ish, if I can say so myself. But you never really separated from that Keyboard Folio because you didn't have to. Now you have to. I appreciate this a little bit more. So I think was one of the reasons and one of the main, I guess, positives about this design is that not only does it make it float, it allows you to go ahead and separate this and use it on its own, separate the iPad and use it on its own. Another reason I believe they did this was because folding this thing back any further is going to make it unstable, right? I know a lot of people have been complaining about wanting it to lay down more flat and so forth and so on. You're going to have your iPad topple over. Physics just won't allow you to do it unless you make this keyboard, the bottom half, a brick, which obviously is going to add a ton more weight and going to make this thing considerably thicker, which is going to take away from some of its visual appeal. So I have no problem with that at all. Now, on the other side of this thing, one of the other major features, and I'm not sure if you can see it there. You zoom in just a little bit so we can get up on this. You see that USB-C port. That is one of the best features about this thing. Now, while this is not a data port, it's strictly just for pass-through charging. It enables you to charge your iPad on this port and use the other USB-C port to connect whatever dongle, USB-C hub, or whatever other device you want to this. With me using the Raspberry Pi as a separate computing device, I'm able to power my Raspberry Pi off of this port while charging my iPad with my USB-C port there. So, it works out great. Another major design thing that I really, really like about this is just the sturdiness and the build quality of this Magic Keyboard. It feels really, really solid when you're able to pick it up. You can one-hand it easily. I mean, the magnets are on there really, really well. I mean, I'm shaking this thing. There's no wobble, no anything. And the hinge is really, really rigid, so I don't have to worry about it, flip-flopping back and forth, which is great. A lot of people have complained about, maybe difficulty opening their Magic Keyboard. I haven't really had that issue, right? Like, let's just show you. I close it. I mean, no, you can't one-hand. I mean, I guess you can one-hand it. Me one-handing it, I just stick my nail in here, kind of lift it up a little bit, and then I can do that, right? So it's not truly one-handing it, but it's not that difficult to open for me. And that's, I guess, really have been the majority of the complaints of as far as usability of this thing. Me personally, I haven't experienced any of those things. The weight's not a problem. Difficulty opening it's not a problem. Another thing I've heard is the lack of function keys is an annoyance for some people. I don't need function keys. This is not a laptop, to my earlier statement. This is not something that I anticipate using as a laptop. All of the function keys that were up here that I would normally use, I can access via Control Center. So, like I said before, I envision, using the trackpad, keyboard, touching it with my fingers, as well as the Apple Pencil, using all four ways all four different kinds of input to be able to use this device. So that's really it. I mean, it's really been a great device. It's definitely improved the speed of which I do some things, creating documents, typing up emails, sending emails, doing edits on certain documents, things of that nature. It's definitely improved that. It's very lappable. Also is enabled me to work at night a lot easier. So this is a device I definitely recommend. I'm going to end my tech ramble here and just tell everyone that if you think this is something that you think the iPad is something that you could use in your everyday life and be more productive with a better keyboard, then this is it, right? This keyboard is that better keyboard. It's something that is definitely going to improve your productivity, enhance your user experience. However, that is going to come with a cost. For the 12.9-inch model, it's going to be $350. For the 11-inch model, it's going to be $300, right? So that's another consideration that you have to take into account. But I definitely think it's worth it, especially if this is your primary machine, right? If you're carrying a laptop and an iPad, probably not so much. But if your iPad is your primary device, then yes. For those of you with concerns about, I'm not able to lay it flat and draw on it, just lift it off, fold this down, bang, it's flat now. Problem solved. That's how I use it, right? So it's just everyone take in mind that this is a different type of computing device. Don't try to make it a laptop. Don't try to make it a this, make it a that. Just use it for what it is. It's a different a different type of computing device that'll, have you reimagining different ways to do things, which not always is a negative. Most of the time it's a positive. So that's why this is my primary device. But that's my review. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Hopefully you are, wanting to go ahead out and buy a iPad Pro Magic Keyboard now. Or hopefully this helped you decide not to buy an iPad Pro Magic Keyboard. Hopefully it was able to influence you in some sort of way. But beyond this particular tech stuff, hopefully everybody's out there staying safe. Hopefully you are self-quarantining, social distancing, all that good stuff to keep you and the circle of people that you love healthy. But with that, I'm done. It's been real, and I am out.